Welcome to Channel 4 News with me, Ron Burgundy. Well, starting off, we will have the U.S. examining the Soviets and the moons. But first, this Saturday was a great day of sports, and Champ, you can take it away.
Hi folks, the San Diego Chargers have lost yet another game by the Denver Broncos. On the other hand, the San Diego Padres have won a big whammy from...
Wait, hold up, Champ. We're getting some breaking news right now. Fantana, update us on what's happening.
Thank you, Ron. As most of you know, about 2 weeks ago, Soviet missiles were spotted on Cuba by an American U-2 spy plane. These missiles pose a serious threat to the United States due to their close proximity to American territory. It seems as though Americans are split on what actions to take. Protests have broken out worldwide, mainly urging President Kennedy to refrain from war. However, others believe that war is the only way to resolve the issues with the Soviet Union and Cuba. President Kennedy formed a small group of senior officers to discuss possible actions. This group, known as XCOM, was also split on what actions to take. Citizens of the United States have all been at the edge of their seats as President Kennedy sets in on a final decision. Is there a possible medium between absolutely no war and atomic world war? We just received information that will answer this question as well as hopefully put Americans at ease. President Kennedy has ordered a complete naval blockade of Cuba. This means that nothing gets in and nothing gets out until a diplomatic agreement has been reached between Americans and the Soviets. ICBMs, Polaris submarines, and B-52 bombers were placed on high alert as American forces moved in on Cuba. President Kennedy hopes that this will force the Soviets to remove their missiles away from Cuba without mass destruction. Will Kennedy's decision be the right decision? Will it intimidate the Soviets into backing off? Will it keep us from breaking out into atomic world war? Only time will tell. I'm Brian Fantana. Back to you, Ron.
Thank you, Fantana, for the update. Let's go out to the streets and see how people feel about this. Take it away, Veronica.
Thanks, Ron. I'm here on the streets with Aaron, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Do you think Kennedy made the right decision in quarantining Cuba?
I think he made the right decision because he was able to take action without going to war.
Do you think that Kennedy is making the right decision to quarantine Cuba?
You know what I do?
Why would you say that?
Because I don't believe in war. I believe in peace.
Do you think that Kennedy is making the right decision to quarantine Cuba?
Who's Kennedy?
Our president, Miss.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you think President Kennedy made the right decision to quarantine Cuba?
I feel like he was a little bit unfair to the Cuban people. However, it keeps America safe, so I think it was the right decision to make.
Do you feel safe knowing that the Soviets have missiles 90 miles off the U.S. coast?
No, actually, I don't feel safe, Mr. Kennedy. I don't think anybody feels safe.
Do you feel safe knowing Soviets have missiles 90 miles off the U.S. coast?
I think I do feel safe.
Why is that?
Because they're protecting me.
Safe knowing the Soviets have missiles 90 miles off the U.S. coast?
Yeah, because we have that satellite defense system going. I've heard about that in the news, and I'm pretty sure we can take down those missiles.
It really does seem like the people know what they're talking about out there. Honestly, I'm not really sure what's going around in the world. I just report what they tell me to do. Oh, right, Russia's still broadcasting. So what do you have, Brick?
I assume many of you have heard of the Organization of American States, or the OAS. Roosevelt has stated that we continue our involvement with Latin America because of the Cold War. He fears the instability in Latin America. Poverty in those countries could succumb us to communist takeover. However, when it comes to industry, Latin America can't compete. Military regimes in Chile, Brazil, and Argentina return to export-import economies financed by foreigners. These regimes encourage multinational corporations to come to Latin America. But what are those? They are companies with divisions in more than 2 countries. On another note, a vast stream of poor people moved from countryside to Rio de Janeiro. Their hopes for a better life die quickly, which is truly where clean water and electricity are in short supply. Lastly, we have just received word that Brasilia has been recently built. Head architect on the job, Oscar Niemeyer, wanted the new capital to attract development to the middle of Brazil and reduce pressure on Rio. We'll see how that goes. I'm Brick Tamlin. Back to you, Ron.
Well, thank you, Brick. It seems as if we are done reporting, but I'm getting news that our sportscasters out on the streets. Champ, tell us what's going on with the non-sports news.
Both Colombia and Peru at this time have been facing harsh economic struggles, which is leading to most of the population in both countries to live in poverty. During Peru's struggle, Alejandro Toledo, the first Native American descent to be freely elected as president, conducted a project called the Camasí Gas Project. This included a pipeline to carry natural gases from the Amazon jungle into Lima. This project was welcomed by Peruvian politicians but was soon criticized for ignoring the damage that can be done to the forest and its people.
Thank you, Champ. Now we are going to Veronica with our installment of fake news. In this piece, we tell people completely false facts and see how they react.
Hi, I'm here with Michaela, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Do you think President Simpson made the right decision on dropping bombs on the Soviets?
I think he made the wrong decision
Why would you say that?
because wait, who was it again?
Simpson.
No, who are they dropping bombs on?
Do you think President Simpson made the right decision for bombing the Soviets?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
The Soviets are stupid.
Do you think President Simpson made the right decision for bombing the Soviets?
I think he made a bad decision, and because he killed innocent people
Why are they innocent?
because they had nothing to do with him.
What makes you say that?
Because I've been there before, and they're really nice people.
You're in contact with the Soviets?
I've traveled there before.
Do you think the Denmark bombing was Germany's blame?
I mean, I guess you could say Denmark had it coming,
Why would you say that?
and they just did. They're always drunk, so I mean they're bound to do something stupid.
Do you think it was Germany's fault for the bombing of Denmark?
Well, Germany was responsible for a lot of bombings, and Denmark was probably one of them because they make pretty good Danishes. So it's probably their fault.
Well, those people have no clue what they're talking about. Thank you, Veronica. Champ, is there anything else you need to say?
In Colombia, a presence of Marxist guerrilla groups have arose and they have started organizing peasants. There are reports that there are more than 200,000 peasants that have been killed by the government. Also, drug trade increased as well as the number of drug lords, which resulted in more violence between the guerrilla groups and the government. It sure isn't looking good in these countries, but we'll update you in the recovery. I'm Champ Kine. Back to you, Ron.
That's nice. That's the news for our neighbors to the south. Well, I'm Ron Burgundy with Channel 4 News. Stay classy, San Diego.
La da 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 da. It's the one and only D-O-double-G Snoop Dogg.
Do you think that Kennedy is...
Burgundy. Well, today we're going to be starting off with the U.S. Alright.
to block that.
Where clean water and electricity are ensured. I was so good. I was so good. Man, you listen.
There are more reports than
So don't you bring us
See you later, folks.